The greatest psychological operation ever executed on the human mind was not a lie about what is true, but a lie about what is difficult. The system has convinced you that wealth is a form of calculus. Mystical complex reserved for the genetically gifted or the divinely chosen. This is the noble lie. It is the fence that keeps the sheep inside the pasture. The truth is offensive in its simplicity. Wealth is not calculus. It is arithmetic. It is brutally, violently simple. The reason you are not rich is not a lack of intelligence. It is not a broken economy. It is because you are operating under a slave morality designed to keep you poor. You are playing a game of checkers according to the rules of fairness, while the elite are playing war according to the laws of physics. Niccolò Machiavelli, the architect of modern power, diagnosed this pathology 5 centuries ago. He looked at the principalities of Italy and saw a cold, binary truth. The universe does not reward the good. It rewards the effective. You are struggling because you are trying to be a good employee, a good saver, a good citizen. You are waiting for the world to hand you a gold star for your suffering. But the world is indifferent to your pain. Gravity does not care if you are a good person when you fall. The market does not care if you are a hard worker when you are inefficient. It respects only one thing, leverage. I am going to expose the operating system of the ruling class. It is not polite. It is not fair. It is simply true. If you are easily offended by the mechanics of power, leave now. Go back to the comfort of the illusion. But if you want to know why money flows away from you and toward them, stay. We are going to perform an autopsy on your poverty. By the end of this broadcast, you will possess the psychological keys to the resource that controls the planet. You will understand how to position yourself so that wealth flows to you as a natural consequence of your gravity, not as a reward for your exhaustion. But to get there, you must be willing to murder the version of yourself that craves approval. The system has deceived you. Today, we deceive the system. We must destroy the foundation of your poverty. It begins with a lie of passion. Stop trying to follow your passion. Passion is a hobby. Passion is for the weekends. Passion is a narcotic for the irrelevant. If you want wealth, you must follow the pain. Machiavelli understood that a prince does not secure power by doing what he loves. He secures power by solving the chaos that terrifies his subjects. Money is nothing more than a certificate of solved problems. The bigger the problem, the bigger the check. The more visceral the pain, the more desperate the buyer. Look at your current life. You're likely paid for your time. You clock in. You perform a task. You clock out. This is the behavior of a serf in the feudal court. You are trading your finite life force for a fixed rate. It is a losing trade. The wealthy do not trade time. They trade solutions to agony. Consider the hierarchy of value. Why does a heart surgeon command a fortune while a cleaner earns a pittance? Because the pain of a dirty floor is merely an annoyance. The pain of a stopped heart is extinction. If you are broke, it is because the problems you solve are too small, too easy, or too common. You are solving problems that anyone can solve. Therefore, you are replaceable. And if you are replaceable, you have zero leverage. Machiavelli advised, "Make yourself necessary to someone. Do not make them love you. Make them need you." Love is fickle. Need is binding. If your boss loves you, he can still fire you when the budget bleeds. But if your boss needs you because you hold the keys to the clients, the code, or the revenue, he cannot touch you. In fact, he must pay you whatever you demand. Ask yourself right now, what pain do I alleviate? If the answer is, I answer emails or I drive a truck, you are in danger. You are competing with millions of humans and soon machines. You must find a pain that is expensive, urgent, and specific. Then must position yourself as the only aspirin in the pharmacy. This is the simplicity of wealth. Identify where people are bleeding financially, emotionally, physically. Stand there. Offer the tourniquet. Do not ask for money. Charge for the relief. Getting rich is simple when you realize you are not selling a product. You are selling the removal of suffering. Most of you were raised on the donkey doctrine. Work hard. Keep your head down. Carry the load. Eventually the farmer will reward you. Machiavelli laughs at this. He wrote, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. The donkey works hard until it dies. The fox observes the system and finds the shortcut. The trap you are in is the belief that effort equals wealth. It does not. If effort equaled wealth, the construction worker sweating in the sun would be a billionaire, and the man in the suit moving capital on a laptop would be broke. Reality shows us the opposite. Why? Because the market does not pay for effort. It pays for impact. The donkey uses brute force. The fox uses leverage. Archimedes said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." Leverage is the art of getting exponential output for every unit of linear input. It is the secret mechanism of the ruling class. There are 3 forms of Machiavellian leverage you must master. First, labor leverage. This is having other humans work for you. The donkey carries the stone. The fox hires 10 donkeys and takes a percentage of every stone moved. Second, capital leverage. This is making money work for you. The donkey saves coins in a jar. The fox borrows the donkey's savings from the bank to buy the farm the donkey works on. Third, and most lethal for you, right now code and media leverage. This is the new frontier. This script I am writing, it is being written once, but it will be consumed by thousands, perhaps millions. The work is done once. The payment is perpetual. That is the fox. If you are working a job where you must be physically present to get paid, you are in a trap. You have zero leverage. You are trading time, which is finite, for money, which is infinite. That is a mathematical impossibility for wealth. Getting rich becomes simple when you stop asking, "How can I work harder?" and start asking, "How can I detach my income from my presence?" You need to build a machine. A business is a machine. An investment portfolio is a machine. A YouTube channel is a machine. A piece of software is a machine. The wealthy spend their early years building the machine so they can spend their later years oiling it. The poor spend their entire lives being the machine. Which one are you? Law 3. Perception is reality. Here is a brutal truth that will hurt your feelings. You are not paid what you are worth. You are paid what people think you are worth. Machiavelli wrote, "Everyone sees what you appear to be few. Experience what you really are." In the game of wealth, optics are not a vanity metric. They are a utility metric. If you look cheap, you will be beaten down on the price. If you look desperate, you will be exploited. If you look uncertain, capital will flee. Take 2 consultants. Consultant A is a genius, but he shows up in a wrinkled shirt, speaks timidly, and replies to emails instantly because he is starving for the work. Consultant B is average, but he possesses a digital presence of marble and glass. He speaks with slow, deliberate authority. He is hard to reach, and he charges 10 times more. Who gets the contract? Consultant B every time. Why? Because the client operates on a simple heuristic: expensive equals good. Inaccessible equals in demand. You are likely underpricing yourself because you are judging your value based on your internal struggle. You know how hard it was to learn the skill, or perhaps how easy it feels to you now. So you charge based on your effort. Stop that. Price is a signal. When you raise your prices, you do not just make more money. You attract a better class of reality. You signal to the market that you are a premium asset. Machiavelli advised princes to maintain an aura of majesty, to never let the public see them stumble or beg. Louis XIV built Versailles, not to live in, but to create a distance so vast that his subjects felt small. Apply this. Never complain about money publicly. Never look like you need the deal. The strongest negotiation position is being able to walk away and mean it. Humans are hierarchical animals. We are wired to follow the high-status individual. If you project high status through your discipline, your dress, your articulation, your boundaries, people will instinctively want to give you their resources. They want to align with power. If you project weakness, they will instinctively want to take from you. Audit your appearance. Not just your clothes, but your digital footprint, your speech patterns, your availability. Are you signaling, "I am a commodity," or are you signaling, "I am the prize"? Wealth flows to the prize. You believe the path to power requires addition, more contacts, more information, more hours in the day. Machiavelli demands subtraction. A prince cannot govern if his court is infested with jesters, parasites, and traitors. He must purge them to preserve the state. Your life is likely cluttered with poverty-inducing variables. First, the people. I will not recite the tired cliché that you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. I will go darker. You are the victim of the tolerance you permit. If you tolerate friends who complain about the economy, you absorb their victimhood. If you tolerate partners who crave safety over freedom, they will anchor you to the mediocrity of the floor. Machiavelli was ruthless about cutting off those who threatened the stability of the throne. You must be ruthless about cutting off those who threaten the trajectory of your future. This is not cruelty, it is quarantine. Poverty is a contagion. It is an airborne pathogen that spreads through language, "I can't afford it," through habits escaping reality on weekends instead of building it, and through fear. If you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You are stagnating. Second, sanitize the noise. You consume hours of content that makes you angry, envious, or distracted. This is mental poison. The wealthy consume information that gives them an edge. The poor consume information that gives them an escape. Every time you scroll, you are making someone else rich. You are the product. Your attention is the raw material they are mining from your skull. Machiavelli would look at a man scrolling through short-form videos for 3 hours and see a slave who has fallen in love with his chains. Reclaim your attention. It is the only non-renewable resource you possess. Focus is the new IQ. In an economy of dopamine addicts, the man who can sit in a chair and work on a single task until completion is a god among insects. Getting rich is simple. Remove everything that is not building the asset. Friends, habits, apps, thoughts. If it does not pay rent, evict it. You have been infected with a slave morality. You have been taught that money is the root of all evil, that the wealthy are greedy, and that there is a quiet nobility in poverty. This is a lie designed to keep you harmless. Machiavelli taught that a prince must learn how not to be good. This does not mean being evil. It means being effective. The world is not a Disney movie. It is a biological competition for limited resources. If you feel guilty about taking money, you will repel it. You must shift your relationship with transaction. When you sell something valuable, you're not taking money. You're exchanging energy. But here is the darker truth. The market does not care about your intentions. It cares about your results. You must be willing to be aggressive. You must be willing to compete. If you open a business, you're trying to take market share from someone else. You're trying to put food on your table, which might mean taking it off theirs. This is the nature of the game. Nietzsche called this the difference between master morality and slave morality. The master creates values. The slave resentfully reacts to them. If you're too nice to close the sale, someone else will. If you're too polite to negotiate for a higher salary, the company will keep the difference. Your niceness is essentially a donation to people who do not care about you. Machiavelli argued that it is better to be feared than loved. In business, this means it is better to be respected for your competence and your boundaries than to be liked for your compliance. Stop trying to be the nice guy. The nice guy finishes last because he puts everyone else's needs before his own. The wealthy put their mission first. They are not necessarily cruel, but they are indifferent to the opinions of those who do not matter. They handle conflict. They fire incompetent people. They enforce contracts. They say no without apologizing. To get rich, you must develop a thicker skin. You must be willing to be misunderstood. You must be willing to be called greedy or obsessed by people who are broke. Wear their judgment like a badge of honor. It means you are winning. Machiavelli spent as much ink on the retention of power as he did on its acquisition. He knew that men are quick to change their nature when their interests shift. The world is waiting to reclaim your capital. The government demands it in taxes. The corporations demand it in consumerism. Inflation demands it in devaluation. Parasitic friends and family demand it in favors. If you generate $1 million and consume $1 million, you are not wealthy. You are merely a high-velocity conduit. You're a pipe through which currency flows, leaving nothing behind but rust. Wealth is what remains in the reservoir. The system is engineered to extract. Every advertisement, every algorithm, every social pressure is designed to liquidate your assets. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Upgrade your lifestyle. This is propaganda. It is the hedonic treadmill designed to keep you running in place until you die. Here is the iron law of the aristocracy. You never purchase luxuries with the sweat of your brow. You purchase luxuries with the sweat of your assets. If you work to buy the car, you are a slave to the car. You must continue laboring to maintain it, but if you use your labor to buy an asset, a rental property, a dividend stock, a business, and that asset pays for the car, you are free. The asset is the slave. The asset does the sweating. Machiavelli would command you to build a fortress. Legally, this means structures that shield you from liability. Socially, it means practicing the art of the gray man. Real power is silent. The loudest man in the room is usually the one with the most debt. He is flashing his feathers to prove he can fly. The eagle soars in silence. When you begin to accumulate resources, shut your mouth. Do not buy the watch to impress people you despise. Buy the freedom to wake up at noon on a Tuesday. That is the ultimate flex. If you are not paranoid about losing what you have built, you will lose it. Machiavelli warned, a prince must always be prepared for war, especially in times of peace. When the money is flowing, that is when you must dig the moat. Let us return to leverage, but applied to the only resource that is truly scarce. You are dying. I do not say this to depress you. I say it to wake you from your coma. Every second that ticks by is a piece of your life that has been incinerated. It is gone. The poor sell their time to survive. The rich buy time to live. This is the fundamental divide. When you scrub your own floors, you are declaring to the market that your time is worth the $20 an hour it would cost to hire a cleaner. When you wait in line to save $5, you are valuing your existence at pennies. You're committing economic suicide. Seneca warned us 2,000 years ago in On the Shortness of Life. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. You must become obsessed with your effective hourly rate. If you aspire to be a millionaire, your time must be valued at $500 an hour. If you are performing a task that can be delegated for $20, you're not saving money. You are losing $480 every single hour. You are burning your future to keep your ego warm. This is why getting rich is simple. You ruthlessly eliminate low-value activities. You outsource. You automate. You delete. You say, I cannot afford to hire help. I say you cannot afford not to. This is the leap of faith. You buy the help so you have the hours to build the skills that pay the ransom for your freedom. You must be arrogant with your time. Guard it like a dragon guards gold. Do not let people pick your brain. Do not attend meetings that could be emails. Do not attend social events out of obligation. Machiavelli said, "It is necessary to be a great simulator and dissimulator." Learn the art of the graceful refusal. Learn to be unavailable. Availability is for servants. Scarcity is for kings. The more scarce your time is, the more valuable it becomes. When you detach your income from your time law 2 and then you protect your remaining time law 7, you achieve the holy grail autonomy. You wake up. You decide what to do. You do it. That is wealth. Everything else is just shiny handcuffs. The world tells you to play fair. Machiavelli tells you to win. In the arena of finance, fairness is a suicide pact. You are looking for asymmetry. You want bets where the downside is capped, but the upside is infinite. Working a job is the definition of bad asymmetry. Your upside is capped. You will never make 1,000 times your salary next month. But your downside is total. You can be fired and go to zero. You are betting your life on a coin that can only land on tails. Starting a business, creating content, or investing in a volatile but promising asset reverses this polarity. The downside is you lose time or money. The upside is you change your lineage forever. You must hunt for unfair advantages. What do you know that others don't? Who do you know that others don't? What pain are you willing to endure that others aren't? Maybe your unfair advantage is your location. Maybe it is your ability to suffer in silence. Maybe it is your obsession with a niche so specific it bores normal people to tears. Lean into it. Do not try to be well-rounded. Well-rounded people make good middle managers. Spiky people make history. Find your spike. Sharpen it until it draws blood. If you are good at writing, write until you are the best. If you are good at sales, sell until you own the company. Specialization is how you monopolize value. The Pareto principle dictates that 80% of the results come from 20% of the effort. But in wealth, 99% of the rewards go to the top, 1% of the competence hierarchy. Machiavelli advised focusing all force on the enemy's weakest point. Find the weak point in the market, the thing everyone is ignoring, the thing everyone is doing badly, and attack it with your unfair advantage. Sun Tzu called this winning before the battle is fought. Do not compete. Dominate. This is the final and most brutal law. Hope is a strategy for fools. I hope I get a raise. I hope the economy improves. I hope I get lucky. Machiavelli despised those who relied on fortuna luck. He admired virtue, boldness, skill, force of will. He famously wrote that fortune is a river that floods and destroys, but the wise man builds dikes and dams when the weather is calm, so that when the flood comes, he is not destroyed, but empowered. He also wrote with controversial brutality that fortune is a woman, and if you wish to keep her under, it is necessary to beat and ill-use her. Strip away the 16th century misogyny and look at the metaphysical truth. You cannot wait for luck to come to you. You must drag it into existence. You must kill the part of you that is waiting to be saved. No one is coming. There is no government bailout for your life. There is no rich uncle. There is no winning lottery ticket. There is only you and the cold, hard reality of the market. This realization terrifies the weak, but it liberates the strong. If it is up to you, then you have control. This is the ultimate shift in locus of control. Stop hoping, start plotting. A plan is not a dream. A plan is a sequence of violent actions against the status quo. Acquire a high-value skill. Apply that skill to solve a painful problem. Charge for it. Use the money to buy assets. Repeat until free. It is boring. It is repetitive. It is simple. The only variable is your discipline. Are you willing to do the boring work when you don't feel like it? Are you willing to study when others are partying? Are you willing to risk looking stupid? If the answer is yes, wealth is inevitable. It is not a possibility. It is a mathematical certainty. It is just a matter of time. So why is getting rich simpler than you think? Because you have been overcomplicating it with emotion. You have injected fear, guilt, pride, and expectation into a simple equation of value exchange. Remove the emotion. Look at the board. The rules are there. Identify pain. Provide a solution. Leverage systems. Protect the capital. Buy your time back. That is the physics of money. The difficult part is not the how. The difficult part is the who. Who must you become to execute this? You must become the outlier. You must become the person who is comfortable in the cold. The person who does not need the herd's approval. The person who sees the world not as it should be, but as it is. Machiavelli did not write The Prince to be popular. He wrote it to tell the truth. The truth is, you have the power to change your reality, but only if you drop the victim script. You are the architect. The blueprints are in your hands. The question is, will you build? But be warned, once you start this path, you cannot go back. Plato described this in the allegory of the cave. Once you step out of the shadows and see the sun, the light will hurt your eyes. But more importantly, when you return to the cave, you will no longer understand the people staring at the shadows on the wall. You will find it hard to relate to your old friends. You will find it hard to complain. You will find it hard to tolerate mediocrity. Wealth isolates before it liberates. Are you ready for that silence? Most people aren't. They would rather be poor and understood than rich and alone. But you are still watching, which means you suspect deep down that you were built for the storm. If this broadcast opened your eyes, understand this is only what I can show publicly. There are videos I cannot upload here. There are aspects of dark psychology and influence that I simply cannot discuss on this platform without being censored or demonetized. The algorithm suppresses the most powerful information because it is dangerous to the status quo. Those truths exist behind the join button. If you are still here, you are not like the others. Subscribe if you haven't. But if you want what is hidden, click the join button and step into the architect level. You will unlock exclusive uncensored analysis that dives into the deepest parts of the human psyche. Most won't. That's the point.